Greetings, Internet, and welcome to another mildly interesting episode of Real Debate. As always, I'm Kyle. Joining me this week, we have Nate.
Hello.
And John.
Hi.
So today's episode will be painful. For John, we have to talk about a certain furry menace, the Ewok.
No, I'm fucking not going to talk about these stupid fucking Ewoks. Goddamn Care Bears can't. No, done, not doing it. So, do we keep going?
I'll get the beer out again. Fortunately, I've obtained enough beer to keep luring him out.
Your one weakness. Please send help. I'm being held against my will.
So, let's make it through this hot pile of warm Ewok dung.
Do we have to?
Yes.
Oh.
You sat through In the Name of the King, and yet you're complaining about this one?
Yes. Yeah. That made more sense. Including when they flung each other across the cliff.
Actually, I feel like In the Name of the King took a lot from this fight.
The worst aspects of it.
Yeah. And they, tripled the amount of camera shots that they used in that. So,
yes.
Maybe even quintupled. It was a lot.
So the battle begins with our terrorists being captured by the Empire, only for the Ewoks to do a surprise attack, and in the ensuing chaos, allow for Chubby to capture a chicken walker.
All right, good episode, guys. We're done here.
Please, God, let it be done.
This allows the rebels to get the time they need to regroup, refocus, and destroy the shield generator, while the stormtroopers decide for some reason to chase the Ewoks down through the forest.
Yes, because we must capture them.
They must use them for slave use.
The Ewoks deserve a fair trial in court or something.
There's subspecies in the eyes of the Imperials, so no. Judge, jury, and executioner.
Now, I just imagined a stormtrooper with a wig on, sitting there with a gavel, and he's like, "You are accused of terrorism, murder of our troops. How do you plead?" And the Ewok's just sitting there going, "That's a Wookiee for one." The Ewok would be just going, "Yup, yup. I'll take that as guilty. Shoot him now."
And then subsequently misses.
Of course.
Yeah, I see the stormtrooper using his blaster as the gavel.
And firing every time he
bouncing around the room, never hitting anything. It's the safest weapon in the universe.
Hey, they shoot two of the protagonists in this.
I think the Ewok stole the guns, honestly.
You know, the running theory for why stormtroopers are terrible aims is because they're using a low rate of fire weapon, and that's about the accuracy rating that you could expect from something firing that fast.
Yeah. Well,
I would disagree.
Well, in episode 4, they purposely missed to let the aluminum Falcon fly out because they're trying to find the rebel base.
That I can believe.
That's
Missing your target by 6 to 8 feet every time you fire? No.
I mean, with an automatic weapon, more
A
than
musket's
20...
more accurate than that.
Well, yeah, it's because it's single rate fire, and they have.
Well, I mean,
There's huge spin on it.
They're hip firing, and they aren't taking the time to aim, and they're running around.
And these aren't the clone troopers; these are actual, troopers. So I guess the troopers that are on the planet are technically the 501st. So
they're just bad. That's all there is to it.
We haven't even gone to the notes yet either. This is great.
No! Everything about this is not great.
So, the Stormtrooper armor is supposed to be a mix of riot gear and military-grade armor. Why are they being taken down by bows? I get that they have patches where they aren't protected, and a couple of scenes we do see them getting shot in those patches where they don't have armor. But other times it looks like they just got hit by a bow and it went through their armor.
Because of instead of doing first rank, second rank fire and lining up, they decided at the beginning of the battle it's just like, all right, we have no plans. We're just gonna run in every single direction and leave our bunker and safe space rather than shooting from a distance, which is their strength. Instead, they chase in the woods and try and beat down the Ewoks.
No, see, the reason why the stormtroopers go down when they get hit with the arrows is because they're secretly actually the minions from Power Rangers, and when you hit them in the right spot, they just disappear and fall to the ground.
I don't like this crossover. I don't ship it.
The Emperor is secretly working with Lord Zed.
But why not Rita Repulsa? Finally, after 10,000 years, I am free!
How do you think they made the Death Star? Make my monster grow. Sorry.
Why are you apologizing? I'm getting great material out of you. Work for me, slaves, work!
Oh,
They
God.
look like Wookiees to you.
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
You're not getting paid anything for this.
Exactly my point.
I'd say would you do it for a John snack, but I don't know why I wouldn't just call it a beer.
There's a difference?
Also, how the hell did a Stone Age technology-based race manage to make a frickin' hang glider?
The appropriate term is ornithopter.
And the appropriate term is Neolithic.
And the appropriate term is get back to work?
Look, they have some dealings with the outside world, and they are able to, use the bikes and stuff, and the chicken walker. So they have some knowledge of getting around. It must have been, they live in the treetops, so it became a necessity for them to learn it.
I think Chewbacca taught him how to make it.
Why is there a Wookiee on the forest moon of Endor? Wookiees belong on the planet of Kashyyyk! That doesn't make any sense to me!
That doesn't make any sense to anyone.
Also, why did the Ewoks have a rope that could support Chewie?
It was a vine. It lasted a whole 6 seconds. That's all it needed to last for.
I believe Loading Ready Run has already beaten you to this joke.
Yeah. And?
So, I get the whole stormtroopers go from planet to planet, so making them camouflage beforehand is kind of pointless because you don't know what you're going into, but why, when they get to a planet, are they not immediately trying to apply whatever to their armor to make them not stand out as much?
Especially since they have an established base, this being the shield generated for the Death Star, which is being, constructed in space above, that they would have a dedicated force on the ground that, a special forces team along with, platoons upon platoons of troopers there.
But then they won't look as shiny for the Emperor.
Wait. I have a new theory.
Breaking
Can't
news.
wait to hear this.
The Emperor is not from Naboo. The Emperor is from Mad Max world. He needs his legions shiny and chrome.
That explains Phasma.
Yes. It's slowly leaking over.
Now I just want to see the
Stormtrooper with a guitar.
No, it's
he's
I need to see the guy
just firing his blaster.
I need to see the stormtrooper on the hull of a Star Destroyer playing his guitar that's also a flamethrower while the Imperial fleet flies at the rebels.
We did this in the last episode of Fly Me Closer, I Want to Hit It With My Sword.
Yeah, but this is infinitely better.
It would be, objectively.
Is it sad I want to start an orc army just to make a whole bunch of trucks with one of those guys on each of them?
No.
Absolutely.
Something I noticed, because I had to watch this like 3 times while getting all my notes together, was the stormtroopers were just chasing Ewoks. They weren't shooting. They didn't have their guns out. Some of them didn't even have them, out of their holster. They were just running and chasing Ewoks.
Well, you know why, right?
Because they wanted a stuffed teddy bear when they got home?
Merchandising.
It's 007 rules. The Ewoks are like Oddjob. You can't hit them anywhere.
Well, see, I mean, George Lucas might as well have replaced all the guns with walkie-talkies at this point.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, it explains why George Lucas and Steven Spielberg got along later on.
Eh.
They always got along.
I meant, like, them working together.
Having
they
collaborative projects more.
They were
Yeah.
doing collaborative projects before Star Wars. They've always been really close friends.
Look, my joke doesn't work if we bring reality into it.
That's why it's even better.
Thanks for walkie-talkieing my joke down.
I'm gonna
So-
kill myself.
How the hell did those Ewoks set up the ropes that could knock down the speeders? Or the guys riding the speeders, I mean. Because those looked like they had just been set up, but they didn't have any step stools.
Obviously, they just climb up on the other Ewok's shoulders.
Make it Ewok pyramid.
What I don't get is why the Ewoks didn't just use the Care Bear stare to take out the Empire.
That would have been too overpowered.
It is a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah. Do you want all the entire forest moon of Endor to be destroyed?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Well, good news, because that's what happened, because the mass and debris of the Death Star falling down kills all the Ewoks afterwards. We did the math.
Yeah, we
That's
did.
good.
We've just seen other people do the math.
Well, at least there's still justice in the universe.
Justice rains down from above.
Also, I've seen multiple people do the math behind this, and from the distance that those logs impact the ATST, it would not explode or be damaged. It wouldn't even be dented.
We saw that it was made of explodium, though, because when the chicken walker fell down from tripping, it blew up.
Yeah. Well, explodium is the cheapest and most efficient material in the universe.
And
right
the
up
Empire,
until it explodes.
the Empire is known for using very efficient and cheap materials. So.
Well, that's what you get for selling all of your products to the lowest bidder.
Damn bureaucracy.
Listen, corporate America, this is what happens.
They are listening, and they have an erection because it means more profit,
And more exploding vehicles.
which means more profit.
Suddenly it all makes sense now.
Then they get to sell exploding insurance. They get to sell burn pads and burn gel for the survivors.
Life
They get to sell
insurance?
prosthetics.
The circle of capitalism.
It's a horrible place to be in poverty. You notice that in this episode, we're not talking about a lot of the movie. It's because we don't want to. And this is where we shine.
I like to think it's our selling point is that we are just entertaining. I mean, not that anyone watches, but, this is all for me anyways, so your middle finger means nothing because this isn't going to be a video.
I know, I was flipping you off in the future.
I've already transferred this to an MP3, though.
The only talking point that I think I'd like to bring up is that the Ewoks use their only advantage quite well. They managed to crawl up into the bushes and disguise themselves in the foliage, Vietnam War style, and then pop up and attack the Imperial forces, causing kind of like a shock and awe effect. That was probably the only tactical thing in the entire scene that is worth of note, in my opinion.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up because George Lucas did say that Vietnam was the influence for this battle, in that the technological superior force getting destroyed by what they see as lesser beings, and just them going in cocky and then just getting their asses handed to them.
So what you're saying is the Imperium needed to bring more daisy cutters.
And more Agent Orange, yes. And they needed to play some, Fly of the Valkyries or I'm Not a Senator's Son music in gunships as they're flying around. Or I guess I'm Not Palpatine's son.
There we go.
Another thing I would like to point out is a majority of this fight, the Ewoks are losing. Like, people like to say that the Empire was defeated by a bunch of teddy bears. No, they were massacring them, and a majority of this fight was just Ewoks dying.
Yeah, I mean, once we see we see that the ATSTs are very good anti-infantry vehicles because when Chewbacca takes one over and when they're shooting at the Ewoks, the blasters explode on the ground, doing radius damage of about 3 to 5 meters. So
Yep.
that'd be devastating against them. And if they incorporated
If
more
only
of
they
that.
used the other guns on it.
I know, right? Another thing that I would like to bring up is the vehicle selection that the Empire had was particularly poor.
It seemed like a scouting force rather than base defense.
Because they brought speeders to a forest moon. We've seen what happens when a speeder impacts a tree. It ain't pretty. It looks fun right up until the explosion, though.
They just gotta get good. That's why
and-
they can't shoot anything, is they spend all their time learning how to navigate through forests with speeders.
A problem with the ATST is it's a walker. The crew needs to be able to see where it's going to step so they don't step on a log and it rolls out from under them. They brought the wrong vehicles to the wrong planet.
An ATPT would have done wonders there.
We know that hover vehicles exist. We know that they're around. Why do they not have some sort of hover sphere with guns on it like the ATST?
Well, because if they introduced spherical combat into the situation, the Empire would just win, and there wouldn't be a story to the movie.
We see in this entire movie the incompetence of the Empire.
And I
Mainly their
blame
engineers.
Palpatine.
Mainly their engineers.
Yeah.
I completely blame Palpatine because
This is why we need better schools.
he was not putting the right people in the right planet. He was putting people who have reputation for doing other things into a defensive position when stormtroopers are shock troopers. Their entire purpose is we are going to take the casualties, but we've got the best armor. They didn't put the lightly armored guys in camouflage there. They put the guys who are supposed to be storming the castle there.
So you're telling me the best armor in the Empire is essentially laser tag armor?
Yeah.
It reflects lasers, but not sticks.
I mean, we see that when the stormtroopers get on the ground, that the Ewoks just start beating the crap out of them, and I'm sure that in universe that they're just cutting them up and cutting their body parts because in the last scene we see their heads and they're playing them as bongos. That's brutal as.
Yeah, I'm sure those little sadistic, little evil, satanic teddy bears are also eating them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the rebels were eating human beings for the rest of that night. Rebels aren't good people. They're cannibals. They are literal cannibals. I bet Shia LaBeouf joined them.
Well, that's why they won then. We also point out the fact that the walker is so easy to pilot that even Ewoks who have Neolithic technology can drive one of them.
I will say that that's actually a very good thing because it means that the amount of time it takes to train someone to pilot one of these is an afternoon.
Well, then why did they spend the rest of the time training to shoot? Or tactics or anything?
I told you they were learning how to navigate speeders through trees.
Were they on Space Reddit the entire time?
Better than watching Space Hulu.
Look, they have 3 months out of the year where they don't work. They have mandatory holidays.
Of all the things the Emperor decided, mandatory holiday was one of them.
Bring your daughter to work day. And
Praise the Emperor.
maybe this was just casual Friday.
Yeah.
They were wearing their nice white armor.
I'm pretty sure these guys were just the new intern trainees that showed up for their first day at work.
Oh god, they're technically the 501st, which is the most elite unit too. Oh!
They have to hire people somewhere. Why not put them on the most important detail in the entire current empire to protect the freaking Death Star? Let's get the rejects in there. We'll have a nice show for all the new people.
It builds character.
Yeah, all the investors can come and see all the new training facilities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have some trees. Here's
Yeah,
a swamp.
so you're saying that All that the Rebel Alliance did was kill a bunch of people at a training facility.
Well, I'd say that they're green, but obviously they're not.
Now they're red.
They should have worn their brown pants.
Well, they will be brown soon after the Ewoks are finished digesting.
No, I'm done talking about this.
The entire scene of it just is failure after failure on the Imperial's part for, not killing the terrorists that are on their planets and going in their bunker and killing their men and just being like, freeze, and not shooting whatsoever. Seriously, do they not have energy in their guns anymore? And what the fuck?
Did you ever see the movie Six String Samurai?
No.
There's a great scene in that where the Six String Samurai is surrounded by Russians with AK-47s, and they all start running in one at a time to engage him in melee. And the general is just sitting there going, "Why do we have guns if they're just going to engage him in combat?" And his lieutenant goes, "We ran out of bullets years ago.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
Guns just for show. Most people surrender."
We only have 6 bullets left, guys. Make sure you only shoot Han Solo. And then they manage to shoot Leia and R2-D2 instead.
And she gets grazed, and they're like, "Oh, she must be dead because we shot her."
Apparently. Also, I gotta give dick points to Han Solo for hiding behind R2-D2, who is objectively the main character of the entire Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, hide behind the guy who's doing the hacking. Don't protect him in any way, shape, or form. Use him as cover.
Hey, he's just a trash can.
We should remember that for Shadowrun. Just throw some armor on me.
Alright.
We done with this train wreck?
Let's get to the grading.
What would you rate the Empire?
Sir, can I... The Z?
Negative A.
And F doesn't give them enough credit for how poorly they managed the situation.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What would you give the Rebels?
Do I have to?
Yes.
I mean, they succeeded in their objective. They didn't show any planning with the Ewoks, and only C-3PO could communicate with them, so they were going on the knowledge that this was going on, and they used the confusion to their advantage. So maybe a C. They didn't go above and beyond. They got their objective done.
All right, John, what would you give the Empire?
The Empire, I give them a 0. It's just pass or fail, no grade. It just they were kicked out of the class before they even got to
complete assignment.
Incomplete.
They need to go back to like kindergarten.
Yeah. And the Rebels, I give an E for using fucking Ewoks.
Thanks, Chubby.
So
I'm giving the Rebels a D. Yeah, they technically completed the assignment, but you know they were cheating. And the Empire is getting a note that says, "See me after class." And we're going to have a long talk with their parents about how they probably need to repeat a grade.
And stop doing drugs.
Stop sniffing the glue.
Stop listening to the space wizard. He's no good for you.
He's like an abusive boyfriend. He's just using you.
So, what do you think? Are we blithering idiots? Was this actually kind of entertaining, or do you want us to stop doing episodes like this? Let us know in the comments below.